Hey everyone, today we are in British Columbia, right outside the town of Hope. We just drove down this terrible abandoned road. This used to be a highway turnaround. Now they have other highway turnarounds, but this was paved. They didn't rip it up, it just deteriorated so bad that you could barely see the pavement in most of the spots. If I zoom in up here, you can see some of the pavement right up there. So we drove down this, it was tight, scraping against the vehicle. Hopefully no one messes with the vehicle while we hike into the woods to the abandoned Trestle. So I'm gonna show you the map right here. We are going to the abandoned Laudner Creek KVR Bridge. It'll probably be a 15-minute in, 15-minute out hike. So we are on this abandoned loop. This was a highway turnaround, it looks like, at one point. It was in decent condition up here, but we were scraping the sides of the vehicle. I would not dare go down here. It gets even tighter as you complete this loop. Oop, it's falling asleep. So right up there, that is the Coquihalla Highway. That's the very dangerous highway they show in the TV show Highway Through Hell. It is very dangerous up and down, even in the summertime. People don't know how to treat their transmissions or their brakes. You smell burning brakes all the time on that highway. And today alone, we must have seen 40 burnt spots in the breakdown lane. People are burning up their transmissions and engines, and their whole car is catching fire. Today we saw a car on fire, and we saw multiple other ones smoldering in the edge of the road. Yeah, even in the summer, without the dangerous snowy winter conditions, we saw a bunch of crashes on this road. We also saw a semi-truck carrying a whole bunch of Dole applesauce tipped over in a ditch, whole trailer cracked open. We got some fire pits here, and where I backed up, if I would have backed up a foot more, a razor blade could have gone through the tire. People like to burn couches and debris down here. We're only about an hour or two away from Vancouver, a not so great city, so hopefully no one messes with the vehicle here. We're in the middle of nowhere all alone. This right here looks like it was a nice maintained road at some point going to the train trestle. There's also a tunnel in each of these mountains. The train only comes out of the mountain to go across the bridge, and we're gonna see what condition it might still be in. Looks like it'll be about a 15-minute walk in if the trail's in good condition. We'll see about that. The river has a lot of erosion along the highway. You can see lots of landslides and other stuff. So coming out here today, even on my vehicle, I was having to watch the temperature on the transmission and engine. They were rising, but staying within limits. Most of the time I had to do some downshifting to get the cooling fan to run a little faster. Today's decent temperature, it's in the 80s in British Columbia. Yesterday got to 98 degrees. It was a hot one. And see, they have blocked off this road. They didn't want people driving any further. Although it looks like this was the end of the road, even when that highway on-ramp was open. So Google told us to take that highway on-ramp. It is no longer labeled on the Coquihalla Highway as an on-ramp. It is also, they don't even have markings. There's no lane to take it, but it still exists. You just get in the breakdown lane and take it. That's what we did. And there's a couple other cars up there that were doing some fishing. This is beautiful. Look at that moss. I know yesterday we explored a rainforest. Not quite sure if this is actually classified as a rainforest, but we have had a good downpour every single night in the west except last night. And we have two options right here for a trail. I'm guessing one goes under the bridge, one might go over the bridge. I'm not quite sure which one we should take. I think the higher one probably goes on top of the bridge. Maybe we could take the other one after. These trees are so beautiful. Can't wait until we get maybe to the coast. We might have to take a ferry to get to Vancouver Island. That's where they got the giant trees in Canada. Yep, this is gonna be quite the hike. I hope this is going to the bridge. Time will tell. I'm not quite sure what elevation on the mountain this is at, but here someone put a rope. Must be going to something exciting. I would not trust what this is tied to. This doesn't seem like a strong rope. Actually, it's tied to a big tree. I thought it was tied to that branch it's shaking. It's a very steep, maybe 45-degree trail. The rope right here, this one is actually tied to a pretty small branch. Nope, it's tied up there. It's just caught, just like before. The trail's about to flatten out, it looks like. A little better. This is a steep one. All right, this trail here is not as steep, not as eroded. Look at the size of some of these trees. Absolutely massive. I'm hoping this gets us to the bridge. Don't know what that other trail is, but I'm assuming the trail next to the river isn't high enough. The elevation map isn't wanting to work out here. The one that shows you terrain and stuff. It's flattening out a little bit, going back up a little bit. There's a large clearing up here that goes to the tunnel. I wonder if it's the overgrown railroad tracks or not. But it's supposed to go into a tunnel, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at. These trees are so big out here. All right, so as we continue through here, hopefully we don't find anyone camping up here. I do see smoke in the distance. Or even worse off, hopefully we don't run into a surprise forest fire. But we're walking right now. This is like a goat trail. This is like more than a 45-degree angle off of this trail. Super duper steep. I do see smoke in the valley here. I'm not sure what's causing it. So right now, we haven't gone far from where we parked at the loop, but I'm hoping this bald area up here is a trail, not just logging. And there is smoke coming from where the bridge supposedly is. Might be someone camping. But in all my years of exploring, we haven't ever ran into a aggressive person exploring or camping. They're usually always nice, even in the areas next to big cities. And it takes a special type of person to climb out to these places too. Usually not that type of bad person. This is a bad trail. I hope it flattens out up there where it gets green. I think that's an opening or an old road. I don't know if you all can tell, this is a very steep trail, but thankfully there's lots of roots to grab onto. Here's an old railroad tie. That's a very good sign, because this means we are not. It means that trail down there probably would have gone underneath the bridge. We'll take that later. It'll probably be flat. But this means the railroad's definitely up here. And when they did maintenance, they threw some of the old ties down. That means that clearing right here will be railroad tracks, because there's no other way a railroad tie would have made it above the train tracks. So this overgrown area has got to be the abandoned tracks. And trains can't climb much of a hill, only a couple %. So I think we're gonna have flat walking once we get up another 30 feet or so. Yep. This is definitely abandoned railroad tracks. Super flat. This is what we were seeing on the map. I'm still wondering, what is that smoke? Something's making smoke up here. There's also another trail, so there could be another way out of here. This is a much heavier used trail. But then again, it looks like it fizzles off. This is the main trail we just came from. Or maybe there's another way out. I don't see any sign of rails. It looks like they scrapped everything when they abandoned it, but the bridge. I don't see rails, and rails would remain here forever. But yeah, this has a pretty good decline to it down to the bridge. But you know what I am wondering? Maybe if we walked that way, we'd find a tunnel. Or maybe it's just a shelf going around. Maybe there's only one tunnel. Maybe the pictures I'm seeing are from the other side, which would be pretty far away. It looks like there's smoke here. It might just be haze. I see haze in all the mountains, but it looks more defined here. We're gonna find out. What day is it? What day of the week is it? Today is August 1st, and it's a Friday. It's also summer. Kids aren't in school, so you might find someone out here camping and having a big fire. But the trail's really nice now. But that steep part, that was a bad one. I love the ferns. A lot of beautiful ferns up here. I was surprised how few abandoned tunnels and railroads there are up here. Most of Canada's railroads are still working. It's not like the United States where you can find abandoned railroads, a excessive amount of them, more than you could ever explore. It's not like that up here. Most of them are still operating up here. Not too many of these. Here's a great example of how steep we are. If I lost my balance here, that'd be bad. Got a concrete retaining wall holding this up. It looks like this was a landslide at one point. But this is a pretty steep grade. And if we take a peek right here at the map, we're a little less than 2/3 of the way. But the rest of the walk is gonna be pretty nice. Look at this nice cut right here that the railroad company made. And this is such a beautiful trail. Look at the moss on the sides of it. Still got a good amount of ballast. A little bit of rock been falling down here. If this train was still running, they'd have to slowly pick this up. But around these areas, I'm sure they're well aware of that. Winter gets into these cracks, water expands. In the spring, everything falls down here. This is an exceptional trail. Oh, yep, there's the tunnel. So I guess there is a tunnel we have to go through to get to the bridge. If this is impassable, it means we have to walk up and over this section of mountain to get to the bridge. It was so quiet right in here. Now we can hear the rushing water down there. Okay, it's not too big of a mountain. We're gonna have to walk up and over that. So I think the pictures online may have been just a photo of each end of this. And of course, other explorers have made a very defined trail. They've probably figured out the best possible option up and over this. So usually with these tunnels, they don't use concrete all the way through. Usually the mountain's strong enough. It looks like where the concrete ended, the mountain collapsed. If we, oh, there's a fly on the lens. If we zoom up there, it was built in 1949. Look at this. These are full-size blueberries like you get at the farm. Delicious, look at them all. Can't believe no one else has picked them, or a bear. There's grizzlies around here, and black bears. Look at this, someone made a fire in here. This would be a cool spot to go camping. Look at that, completely blocked off. And you can see the end where it collapsed. The concrete's smooth. The only structural part in the long run was what they reinforced. Looks like it'll be pretty easy to get up and over this. That seems extremely fresh. Rain doesn't wash any of this off. And yeah, up at the top, it all just collapsed right down. There's no concrete going beyond that. It's exactly where they molded it. Look at that. And it looks fairly recent. Notice how there's no large trees in here growing. Just that one, which may have slipped down with it. Just a little bit of grass. All that rock just disappeared down into the tunnel. Look at that. Snap a few pictures of it. Now we gotta go up. We'll get a view from the very top, then the other side. This is awesome. That's helpful. All right, so now we have made it higher up. Decent trails. There's lots of cables here that people found from the railroad. I think it was probably used to hold up telegraph poles. Here's another wire. That looks more modern. Oh yeah, look at this. That's exactly what this stuff is right here. I can even see the bracket where it would have been going into the ground, into a piece of concrete. It was holding up either a power pole or a telegraph pole. But these cables are great aftermath to help you climb up here. Okay, oh wow, there's the bridge. They scrapped the rails and it's so rusted, I'm surprised that wasn't involved in a forest fire. I don't think it was. I don't see any burnt anywhere else. It's just very rusty. So it's not something we can walk across. Not something I'd dare walk across. If it had ties on it, I'd go across that. But it's another sketchy goat trail going down to it, to the other side of the tunnel. I want to go up here on top of it and look at the collapse from the top down. This is very sketchy. The rocks are loose. Gotta be careful what piece you put your weight on. Oh my gosh. Did it collapse on both sides? Yes, it did. Very unstable tunnel. These days, they would not bother building a tunnel like this. They would just chop this piece of the mountain down. Look at this. All of this disappeared. When we get down there, I wonder what will even be left of it. This looks so recent. Well, the way these trees stood up could have been as little as 2 years ago. Birch trees stand up so fast. So there's just this little layer right here, which I am not certain is stable at all. You see some people go across it. I'm not doing that because this is certainly in the center of the tunnel where there's no concrete holding it. You got this big collapse that we were just down in front of. The middle right here holding on, maybe just because of these trees' roots, maybe stabilized it. But there's probably a little hollow cavity right in the center of the tunnel. It's gonna collapse any moment. That's so cool. All right, I gotta get back down now. Look at that. Reindeer moss on these trees. This area can get very humid. Rains a lot. Gets extremely cold around here. I'm gonna shut the camera off and carefully get back down there. That's where I was just standing. Now that we're down here having a water break. It's very, very hot out. Very nice mossy ledges. We're gonna try to go down this goat trail, see if there's any remnants of the tunnel, but I think this collapse took the concrete with it down there. So I think we're not even gonna get to the end of the bridge because that is so steep and unstable right there where it slid. I think I'm gonna try to go down there myself, see what footage I can get there, come back up, and I think we have to go back down that very steep hill, and then we'll take the lower trail under the bridge for some better shots. And maybe we'll find a trail leading back up there, because this just goes into the mountain. I'm assuming there's another tunnel over there, because I don't see a shelf on the satellite maps. It doesn't look like an opening, because you see how the bridge is shaped. It looks like it goes straight into the mountain. It doesn't look like there's enough room for it to turn again. I'm gonna look at the map one more time, then I'm gonna go down here. All right, it's hard to tell. See where we're standing here? The satellite map right here does show both of the collapses. And over on the other side, see where the bridge goes in? It's hard to tell if there's a tunnel or not. I'll see if I can see anything else by walking on down here. It's more dangerous going down than up. And that goes down hundreds of feet right there. I'm good. All right, that was the bad part. Some rocks were falling down there. These cables people put up are actually very, very strong. They're very tight. And look at this one. How much the tree grew around this. Let's see. Oh, nope, it didn't take the concrete with it. I see the concrete end right there. And I even see they put fencing up back when this tunnel was open to the public and you could walk through it. It's all very recently collapsed. But there is still definitely a little bit of a hollow section in here. At least from this angle, I don't see any way in it. And you see it's not a good idea going across here. I do see a cable, a very thin rope. But if that were to snap while you're holding on to that, all the way down there. It's a beautiful river. 10 times zoom. We're gonna go down there. There's another trail. But up here, I don't see a single opening into that tunnel. There's a rope. I'm gonna go up to the rope. I don't think I'm going across it. Look at this slide. Look at this giant rock slide. Not worth it, I don't think, going across this. You see other people have done it, but nah, it's just simply not worth it. I'm looking down there. There is actual ties still on the bridge, but they look like they may have burned or they're just severely rotted. Yeah, look at all the dust down there. It's still trickling. If this was one of those metal ones like back there, I'd trust it. Let's see how much force I can put on it at this angle. It's pretty strong, but I'm not taking that risk right there. We're so remote here. We're gonna go down to the bottom and see what else we can see. Oh, I still hear rocks down there. It's been a couple whole minutes and you still see the cloud of dust rising up just from that little bit of sand I kicked. We'll see the bottom of this. We're gonna go down below. It's just it's a scary slope. I'm not going across that. It's not worth the shot of that end right there. But I don't know. Back there, that loop where I showed where I started the video, if we walk across that loop, is there another high trail going to the other side? Well, we got a couple hours of daylight left to figure this out. Didn't take very long to get up here. We're gonna figure out if that exists. Hey, hon, do you know what I'm thinking right now? We got the lower trail that goes down below. If we go down further down that dirt road, there might be another high trail going to the other side. But yeah, we got hours to figure it out. So I learned something just by being down there. This trestle looks like it was on fire. It doesn't look like it experienced a forest fire. At least nothing severe. You'd see a little bit of burnt on the trees. A lot of the trees around here are built to be fireproof, but there's no evidence of that. I think a vandal probably caught the whole thing on fire. Usually when it's rusted to that extent, it was on fire. You saw at the beginning, you could see the railroad ties. Most of them are gone. And if you zoom in, they look burnt, don't they? I think some vandal lit the whole bridge on fire at some point. And if you look over there, there's a telegraph pole or something with more of these cables hanging off of it. Or is that a tree? Something's hanging off of it. Let me get another angle of this. Is that a utility pole? Nope, it's a tree with a skinnier tree in front of it. But from way over here, I couldn't tell. I don't see any remnants of the telegraph poles. But there's all these wires around here, so they must have existed. I'm gonna keep a special eye out for them on the way back. Look for telegraph poles mixed into the trees. Is this a type of maple tree? The leaves look different than my area. It's got the same little seeds, spinners. And these plants here, I love these. I'm actually growing some of these in my yard. They got much, much bigger than that. Like 12-foot tall ones in my yard. I love them. People call them the toilet paper plant because they're great for wiping if you have nothing else out in the middle of nowhere. So we have 3 hours left of daylight. I don't like driving in these areas with all the wild animals, but I will tonight if we need the 3 hours to explore this. It took about a half an hour to get up this hill. I feel like it's more dangerous going down it. I don't know if we'll find a way up the other side. I see another big landslide over there at some point. But we'll walk down that little paved off-ramp further, see if there's another trail leading in that direction. But first we're gonna try that low trail. There's no point in continuing this trail because it fizzles out. If there was something exciting, I think there'd be a trail going to it. And usually if there's one abandoned tunnel like this, there's probably more, unless they just rerouted slightly. I showed those blueberries back there. There's also a lot of blackberries. This one doesn't look the best, but I'm gonna eat it. There's one that's not ripe, but I'll still eat it. There's a lot of them along the trail. See, not quite ripe. This one's ripe. A little rotten. Oh my gosh. Look at them all. Some are good, some are bad. See, this one's overripe. This one's overripe. That's why I'd rather pick the little bit underripe and delicious. A lot of berries out here. Supposedly this time of year, there's lots of fish in the rivers coming up. So a lot of the grizzlies would be down like on that lower trail we're about to take. But we each got bear spray just in case. In these parts of Canada, the border said when you explore parts of Canada like this, you are allowed to bring shotguns and rifles. But they said it's better just to bring bear spray. Then you don't need to explain anything to anybody if you do find yourself getting into trouble at these places for whatever reason. All right, we gotta look for the trail. They had little pink markers leading off. It's actually pretty distinct. I think that's what someone made here. I think this is supposed to be an arrow, because that's where we came from. Up here doesn't seem to really go anywhere. See, it quickly seems to fizzle out. It goes for a bit as a trail, but I don't think there's anything out there. All right, this is the very steep trail back down. All right, we're carefully going back down. I got a feeling we're gonna have company on this trail or the other one, because we're in the middle of nowhere. I just heard a car honk its horn. I think it's somebody locking their horn, you know, locking their car. The horn. Parts of this are steep enough we got to get down on all fours. Some of it not so much. But it's very, very steep. The worst of the worst, there are ropes. And the ropes do actually help a lot, whoever put them out here. It is a Friday night, so I do think people are going to be coming out here. Kids like to come to these places at night. Trying not to slip, and hopefully no one messes with the vehicle. Very dusty trail. But yet, there's no drought here. Every sign we pass that says fire warning, it's always on the lowest level. All the drought monitors, always the lowest level as we drive by them on the highway. Everything looks super green, and last night was actually the first night it wasn't raining out here. This part of the trail's not super duper bad. It actually flattens out a little bit. You just gotta walk with your feet sideways and have good balance. Unless you experience these places in person, I don't think the camera does much as far as showing how steep this is. Also, these trees are very, very thick. Alright, this part's not that bad. Don't have to really walk sideways. But it gets bad again to the bottom. So these ropes right here are very helpful, but I would not trust this with my whole weight. It's good to partially grab onto, but I'm not gonna hang off of it. In fact, most of this trail I don't even need it. I just walk sideways, and that does it for me. Kicking dust is fun. Okay, we're back down to the bottom of the hill. Time to start the new trail, which should be pretty flat down underneath the bridge. If we have enough time, we're gonna take the road to the other side of the river, and that'll actually be kind of cool. Let's see if that old on-ramp or off-ramp has an old bridge abandoned, if it has an old culvert, or if it just goes next to it. We're gonna see. Now it's probably gonna be a short hike, not too bad. Moss is really nice. I saw a spider up there, which I think is the western black widow. Not as bad as the south. Not as venomous as the southern black widow. but supposedly worse than the northern black widow. So we're down in the riverbed now. We're down into an area that looks like it would flood. Got some beautiful old growth out here. Look at the size of this rotten tree. It's even got a little one growing out of it. It's nice that somebody marked these trails. Someone even chainsawed these trails. Maybe this is old maintenance when they had that tunnel open to the public. It's still listed as open to the public, but you can tell it looks like something they wouldn't really want you at. That moss looks amazing up there on these dead branches. So much prettier down here with the moisture of the river. Look at this is a beautiful place to camp. Got a flat spot for a tent. Nice trickling waterway. It's not flowing very much. We gotta find a nice place to camp with some of the old growth. Don't quite see the bridge yet. Trail's getting a little rougher. So the trail ended, but this is pretty easy to hike up. There's some debris here from the railroad. Not sure what it is. I think when we leave here, because we got rubber boots, we can just take the whole riverbed all the way back to the vehicle. That's a massive old growth up in there. Look at the size of that log. But the trail ended. The reason it ended is because, look at that. Big landslide. I don't think that's the landslide. Could be. We're gonna find out if this is what's below that concrete wall or is this what's below the tunnel. We got to get a little closer. I don't see the bridge yet. But this water's super clean. Maybe we could take a bath in this when we get back before we head out, if it's not too dark, because I don't think there's gonna be a trail on the other side. We'll see. This is nothing we even would have noticed from up top. It doesn't go high enough up the hill where we climbed. We're only about halfway to the bridge, so it would be neither of the slides we saw. Imagine how high this water was at one point to put this pile of logs here. That's what started cutting away at all the edges. Imagine seeing this blasting with water. When this was blasting with water, all these woods here would have been flooded. Not in the current, but they would have been flooded. And this, walking up the riverbed, is not that bad. This is pretty much the same as all the mountain hikes I've done in the past. The tops of most of the mountains are very rocky like this. Just got to keep an eye out for anything around us. Bears, mountain lions. We got the spray. That should help us out if anything like that occurs. The river branches off right here for the moment. Okay, we got a bit of debris to get up and over. We are in Bigfoot area too. Look at that burnt tree. Thing got hit by lightning. It's only one of them. So we got to remember, that's where we're going. Barely any water's going there. It's all going down here. The river gets bigger now. There's so much debris around that makes the hike a bit more challenging. Nothing difficult, just slows you down. All these massive logs. Now this may have been one of the slides we were seeing up there somehow. Okay, here's like steps up. This one's a little loose, but it's crammed in there pretty good. Then a few steps down the back. The rest of the riverbed looks okay. I don't believe this is what we were seeing either. It's a bit of a landslide up in there too. It's a whole lot of them.
I'm thirsty. I'm gonna get this water.
Okay. Water's really clean, really cold. I think I'm just gonna plop myself down here because that right there looks like it's gonna move. I wish we were in a situation where we could take this. This is so heavy. If I was next to the truck, I'd take that out of the river. That's a piece of rail, and it's old rail. Really old rail. New rail would be like twice as the height for heavier trains. Piece of rail somehow got blasted all the way down the river. And we're still only 2/3 of the way to this bridge. The water here is amazingly clean. We should see the bridge any moment. It's right around this next bend. At least the river is very easy to cross with rubber boots. We got a lot of riverbank, so there's really no reason to cross right now. Oh, I do see the bridge up there. We got to get underneath it. Be there in another 5-10 minutes. I don't see the landslide yet. Oh yeah, I see part of it. Living in an area that doesn't have old growth, this is spectacular to see how big these logs are up here. Some of these are cut. I wonder where they came from. They got cables attached to them. Looks like the easiest way to go through here. We just stay away from that rock. How is that rock even held there? It's just wedged between these two logs. Stay away from that. Oh, the cable is inside that rock, attached to the tree. That's not gonna fall. I'm still not gonna stand underneath that. I'm gonna go up and over this. Wow.
It's okay, I got it.
All right. It looks like there's even a landslide around its foundation. Beautiful bridge. There's a lot of cables in these trees. What do you think? Is it easier to anchor these logs somewhere up in the mountains instead of worrying about them getting clogged in a culvert and washing out a road? Is that the reasoning for this? This is the cleanest part of the railroad, or this is the cleanest part of the riverbed. There's a big I-beam down there. We're gonna have to check that out. That doesn't look that steep on this side. What do we got here? Looks like a leaf spring from maybe the train suspension. And here we come up to that beam, part of the bridge. It's a big cage full of debris. I think it's easier to keep walking on this side until we get up there. There's the bottom of that slide I didn't want to go across. We got another beam in here. Looks like it's been there a while. And that was a good call not going out there. It wasn't just a gradual slope. It was a slope going down, big drop in here. And that's where we were standing up there before, right at the top of that. If we walk up the riverbed a little bit more, maybe we can see the tunnel. It also appears to be pretty easily climbable this side of the bridge. Maybe we'll do that. We do have a giant flashlight just in case. Okay. There's the fencing they put up when it was open to the public for viewing. Now we're underneath it. Unclear if there's another tunnel. I think it was just pictures of both ends of that one that they advertise online. Here's a nice metal sign. I'm gonna try to go up here myself just a little ways. Look how high the water sometimes gets in here. Maybe we can figure out where those sections of bridge supports broke out of. I'm not gonna go far. We don't have much daylight left. And I do not think there's another tunnel. Could be wrong. I see more broken pieces of something there. I'm just trying to see what is missing on the bridge. It would probably be down low, wouldn't it? Where some debris, a gigantic old growth log coming down here in a storm smashes into it. Look at this. The bottom of the foundations are starting to erode. But none of this seems to be in very bad shape. This doesn't look like that bad of a hill to climb. If I see a decent area where I think I can get up it real fast, I'm gonna try. Oh, someone else is up there. I knew I heard like someone locking their car. See the stones falling? Oh, I'm so happy someone's up there because I like seeing this. See the rocks falling there? Storm of dust. Somebody's going over that side. And they'll probably make it. I wasn't going to take that chance of not making it. At least we know it was someone coming out here. Alright, we made it back to the vehicle. I have no idea where those other people parked. Maybe they came in on that continuation trail somehow. But I swear I heard a honk, a horn of a, when you click a car shut, I heard a horn. So maybe they parked somewhere down here in the bushes, but this is an old highway off-ramp, the continuation of what I was showing. Just want to see, is there a bridge? At this point it looks like we're staying on this side of the river. It just goes underneath that larger highway bridge and loops around. But they no longer need it. It's a bit overgrown, and there is another spot to turn around. I'll take a look underneath the big bridge. When this was active, this was one really, really steep off-ramp. But they've since even removed the turning lane. But Google will still tell you to take it if you plot this bridge, the abandoned bridge. It will still tell you to take this abandoned off-ramp, which is still connected. They just don't have a lane for it. Pretty cool. Just want to look underneath this bridge, then we'll head back up. It's a very tall one. The Coquihalla Highway. Bridge is massive. We tried at first going to another parking lot, which does go to it. It's twice the hike. But there's a sign saying no fires. Doesn't say you can't camp there in that other parking lot. There's a wide open gate. You could drive up it a bit. But on the gate, it says no trespassing. But it is open where you actually have to walk in the bushes to see that sign. Just saying. But we weren't going to take that chance. Especially with the chance of coming back to the vehicle towed being 4,000 miles away from home. It's a long drive back. Let's see what's underneath the bridge. There is a good spot down here to turn around, even if you were pulling a trailer. But you're gonna scrape yourself up. Your paint pretty badly. Does not look like there's a trail on the other side. But that other parking lot definitely would have gone to the other side. It's just, there's no trail from here, I mean. There's graffiti down here. I thought it was a tent at first around the corner. But this ramp would have kept going. Let me pull up the map for a minute and show you. Hey, yep, there's a fire pit. Even some nice boulders they were sitting on. So I am once again gonna show you. This is the off-ramp. We parked, not here. They actually put a bunch of piles of dirt to block that off, so that's not parking anymore. But there is enough here to turn around a vehicle and even a decent sized trailer. But it's wide open all the way down to where we are, and you see it would have continued. I don't know if it still connects to this road or not. Want to walk it and see if it still connects to the town road?
It's up to you.
Yeah, let's do it. I want to see if it still connects. It's only another 5-10 minute walk. I want to see if this ramp is actually still usable or if they blocked it off to the local road or not. Look at that big erosion crevice. One of the drains on the highway is leaking down that. See, those pipes are the drains. When it's raining, they'd be pouring out. There's probably holes underneath them in the soil up there. Maybe that's leaking out of the expansion, or there's probably a culvert in that foundation wall leading to some drains further down. That's what I'm assuming. So this area here, what do you think? Did they rip up the asphalt? At the beginning of the video I was showing there's certainly patches of asphalt further up, but it's hard to believe that every little bit of it would have eroded out of here. I think they tore up most of it, recycled it. This gets tight. I personally think it's a dead end because we got the river right here. I don't think there's an abandoned bridge. I think we might find foundations or a blocked off bridge. That's what we're coming to see. There's tire tracks. People do come down here. I know my truck would make it down here very easily. Got a bunch of erosion here coming down during heavy rain. The other side here, I guess when this river floods, that must have gone underwater, that local road. I see some orange signs, but let's see. Is there gonna be a bridge up here? Is it gonna be blocked off? Well, there is a bridge. It was hard to see in the tree line. I thought there may have been another bridge. Let's see, does it actually connect to this currently used one? I noticed around here in British Columbia, they don't block anything off. There's all kinds of random parking areas on the sides of the highway, and they don't say you can't stay overnight at them or anything. I know my area, they block off everything. Around here, except next to the cities, they don't even care if you use the little crossover on the highways. In fact, you have to use a lot of them to get over to parking lots and other stuff. It looks like it may have been blocked off at some point. There's a lot of stuff here, but wow, it is actually usable to get down to this road. The ramp that's not listed on the highway is still usable. We got a bunch of stumps here. Guess that's lighter than carrying rocks around. This is cool. And we come down here to a much larger river, and there are people down there camping or fishing or something. I see people down there. Look at this, they made it out of these big metal plates. Is this more like a temporary bridge? Might be a logging road. I don't know. But I seen what we wanted to see. So up here, see this ditch right in here? I thought we were gonna have a bridge right there. See where that ditch goes across the on-ramp? Right here. Thought that was gonna be a bridge, but the only bridge is right there on this road. And it says mine. Is there a mine down there? So much to research and explore around here. But we're gonna walk back up to the vehicle, and at the bottom of this ditch right here, is there a pipe? I see lots of erosion here. If there is a pipe, it's not handling it. There should be a culvert right here. Not seeing it. Can we see one sticking out anywhere? Nope. All right, everyone. We don't see another trail, or else we take it up there. The other side, we're actually gonna park overnight at the other side. We don't want to be right here because we think people are gonna try going to this, a lot of them at night. I do expect when we're pulling out of here, we might find a car up there. But we are about to go to the other side right now, try to spend the night, and I'll show you the gate. So, we pulled back out that abandoned on-ramp the wrong way onto the highway, and because of the way you're facing, you know, an abandoned on-ramp, we had to wait a moment so we could make that turn, and there was a good break in the traffic. We did it. Because going down the other way, that was a bit tricky. We could have bottomed out where that landslide blocked it off, but it's not an active ramp, so it's not even recognized by the highway anymore. I think it's only recognized by Google because anytime they see anything that even looks like a road, even if it's not, they'll mark it as something. But this is where we're gonna spend the night, the other side. So it doesn't say you can't park here overnight, but it's weird. It doesn't say no camping. It just says no campfires. And it has a phone number to report a wildfire. And this gate says no trespassing, and it says they're doing research of some sort up there. Not sure if it being open means we can do it. Not sure. If it was my area, I would take it as being open means I can go up there. But because I walked in the bush and saw no trespassing, we're not going to take the risk having the vehicle towed 4,000 miles away from home. So thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great night. We're just going to sleep here in the vehicle, and I think the worst they would tell us to do is move along. We'll see how it goes. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're maybe 10 minutes away from the town of Hope, but maybe an hour and a half away from, what's the big city called? Vancouver. So I'm going to give you a better explanation of where we're spending the night. So this is where we are. We came back out onto the highway. We went down here. We got off at this ramp, and this is where we spent the night. It's this long, curvy road. If we hiked up there, we would have had access to maybe the other side of the bridge, but it does involve maybe a hour-long bushwhack. It looks to be like a logging road. There's also a little reservoir up here, but we didn't take that risk. Throughout the night, a couple vehicles came out of there. A guy on an ATV went up to the gate, got out like I did, looked at the sign. He also decided not to go up there. So that's the situation we're dealing with right here. Yep, there's no signal here, so can't really load anything else.